Everyone wonders how Alex Hormozi blew up so fast. Best-selling books, massive companies, a brand everywhere. The answer? It all comes down to the Hormozi effect. Before we get into the Hormozi effect, what we have to understand is we are focusing on the wrong traits of Alex. It's like these. Alex! You see, what they're doing is they're trying to get you focused on hacking Alex's funnel, hacking Alex's pitch. They're getting you focused on trying to break down his offer. But you see, the bottom line here, I'm not saying those things are bad. They're all good, but it's not what's going to make you wealthy. It's not what's going to make you successful. And it's not going to give you sustainable success and wealth in your life, something that you're craving. Let me give you an example. Now, to prove my point, about 10 to 12 years ago is when Russell Brunson and ClickFunnels pretty much dominated the industry. And at that time, everybody in the internet marketing space wanting to build product online, what they were doing was they were copying Russell Brunson. They were copying his funnels. They would buy his product and make the product their own and try to sell it. But the issue is they were focusing on the wrong traits of Russell Brunson at the time. So now, 10 years later, you don't even hear from anybody that tried to copy Russell Brunson. The only person you hear about, guess who, is Russell Brunson and ClickFunnels. They're the ones that made sustainable wealth because they worked on them. And this, my friends, is exactly what Alex is doing today. You see, what's happening is if you focus on the wrong traits of Alex, when we fast forward 5 years or 10 years from now, nobody's gonna know who you are. The only person who's gonna be sustainable is Alex Hormozi himself, because you're focusing on the wrong traits that made him wealthy. And right now, today, we're gonna talk about the Hormozi effect right now. Now, I want you to listen to this very, very closely. To its core, this is exactly what the Hormozi effect is. The Hormozi effect is when you feel an impulse, you act before your brain has time to interfere. You see, that tiny gap in between feeling and thinking is where most people lose. And Hormozi skips this step. At this point, let's dig a little bit deeper and jump on the computer. You see, why it works is that number one, the brain always inserts a safety delay. You start second guessing, it's caution, it's overthinking. You see, what's end up happening is what Alex is doing to the core is he's following his intuition. When he has a gut feeling and intuition, he takes action on that intuition. He skips the whole decision-making process. He skips the whole being over analytical, overthinking. Let's kind of see how this is going to work out. Let me think about it for a week. Alex isn't doing that. He just has an intuitive nudge and he takes immediate action on it. So he's skipping that part where most of us get stuck in. We get stuck in not making a decision, being indecisive, and overanalyzing it to death, which a lot of us takes days, weeks, months, or even years to even make a decision. Alex is not doing that. So look at it this way. The longer you wait, the stronger the anti-action voice becomes. Acting instantly bypasses this trap. You're through the door before fear even loads. I love this because the quicker you take action, the less you're thinking about worry, doubt, and fear, the less you're basically letting worry, doubt, and fear creep in to actually stop you. Now, number two, it skips decision fatigue. What do I mean by this? You see, most people stack up hundreds of tiny micro decisions a day. By evening, they're exhausted without doing anything meaningful. You see, what's really happening is that you're really not making a decision. You're letting a decision creep in your mind. You say, oh, let me think about it. Let me overanalyze it. Let me see what's good or bad. Let me see what's best for me. And you're stuck in this decision mode that's when worry, doubt, fear creeps in. You basically start accessing every little thing besides making a decision. This is why Alex is jumping ahead of so many people, because when he has an intuitive nudge, he just immediately takes action. And in the part of action is when he adjusts everything, but he keeps on taking action. Think about it this way. The Hormozi effect cuts the middleman. No endless pro and con list, no debating. What is the middleman? The middleman is you thinking about it. You overanalyzing. You're trying to figure out what's best for me. Is this best for me? Is that best for me? If I do it, what happens if this happens? If I do it, if I don't, what's the consequences over here? It skips all that. Listen, energy that would have been spent thinking about it is redirected into doing it. And over time, this creates clarity because action teaches faster than thought. Number 3, you build trust with your gut. This is why I'm saying Alex is taking intuitive action. Okay, now what's intuitive action? I'm kind of calling it what I like to call it. But he has an intuition, he has a gut feeling, he has a thought to do something, and he just takes action on it. He doesn't think about it. Think about it this way. If you're sitting here thinking you're in business, you're an entrepreneur, and you have the thought of, maybe I should start a podcast. Maybe I'll jump on and do a podcast. Okay. See what Alex is doing when he has that thought, he has an intuition to start a podcast, he just starts it and does it. Okay. He doesn't stay in this middle. Okay. What happens if it don't go right? I'm kind of nervous. What happens if people don't like me? What happens if people make fun of me? What happens if I don't have nothing good to say? See, Alex isn't thinking about any of that. He's just taking action. He's just doing it. And the process of doing builds trust with your gut instincts, your intuition. You see, every time you ignore an impulse, you teach your subconscious mind, I don't listen to you. That's exactly what's going on. You're not taking action on your intuition. So all you're doing is programming your subconscious mind that I don't listen to you. I don't listen to my gut feelings. I don't listen to my intuitive nudges. I don't listen to that small little voice that makes me seem like I'm crazy. I don't listen to you, baby. And over the years, this creates self-doubt and paralysis. Acting fast sends the opposite message. I trust you. I back you. Your intuition sharpens because it knows it will be heard. You see, that's how you get more confident. And that's how you get more confident in yourself, more confident in your own decisions, because you're only listening to yourself. You're listening to your intuition, your gut feelings, and you're just taking action on it. And after you do this for a while, you got hundreds of times where you're taking action on your intuition. Well, it builds trust with your subconscious mind. It's like strengthening a muscle. The more you use it, the more precise it becomes. Number 4 is you stack momentum. Momentum isn't built from a perfect plan. It's built from stacked yeses. And you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have a perfect plan. It could be super, super rough, but momentum is built on a stack full of yeses. What are yeses? The yeses are you following your intuition and you're just taking action on it. You're just doing it. You're skipping over this decision fatigue phase. You just go from intuition directly into action, implementing it. Bottom line, period. You see, one action leads to another door, another person, and another opportunity. The compounding effect is exponential because doors only open while you're moving. Remember, energy is not stagnant. Energy is always moving. So when you're taking action, what are you doing? You're actually moving. And on top of it, you're taking action on your intuition, your gut feeling. Listen to it this way. Your intuition, your gut feelings is never going to lead you the wrong way. Bottom line, it's always going to take you closer to your goal. Sometimes it takes you straight there, and other times you have to think about it as it's a puzzle piece. It's taking you to that next puzzle piece, but you're closer to your goal. You're closer to what you want. You're closer to living life on your terms. Listen. Analysis, overthinking, overanalyzing, trying to figure out what's best for you. That's what I mean by analysis. Analysis freezes the compounding curve. Action accelerates it. Number 5, living in flow. The bury it loop chains you to old emotions and looping endlessly. What do I mean by the bury it loop? You see, what most of us are stuck in, what Hormozi is doing, the Hormozi effect is when he has an intuition to do something, when he has a small little voice, hey, I want to start a podcast, boom, he just does it. Okay, what most of you are doing is you're in this bury it loop, meaning that you have the same superpowers as Alex Hormozi. Okay, you have intuition, you have gut feelings, but what happens is when you have an intuition to start a podcast, you go into decision fatigue and worry, doubt, and fear starts creeping in. You start getting overwhelmed, or you start getting nervous. You let fear creep in. You think, well, no one's going to listen to me. What happens? I suck and I'm bad. I don't have anything to talk about. What happens? I say and all this like nasty grammar mistakes that we do. Then you get stuck into this over analytical mode where it's like, should I do it or should I do it? Should I do it or should I do it? And what happens is it causes analysis. It causes decision fatigue. You don't make a decision. You stay stuck in it. And since you're stuck in it, that's what the bury it loop is. You end up burying it. You bury the decision. You don't take action on it. Then the loop continues. You understand what's going on. You go right back to your intuition will tell you, do this. And you go right into decision fatigue again. And then the loop continues. Your intuition and gut feeling will tell you, do this, and you overanalyze it. Then it loops back around. Your intuition, gut feeling will tell you, again, start a podcast. You start overanalyzing it again. Then the loop just continues, and we stay in this loop forever. And then people like Alex Hormozi comes along, and they take 10 steps ahead of you. They're 20 steps ahead of you. The only reason they're 10 or 20 steps ahead of you is because they're doing the Hormozi effect. They're just taking action on their intuition. That's how simple this stuff really is. That's the only thing he's doing, baby. Listen, the Hormozi effect creates forward motion so fast, the loops can't catch you. You stay in now energy instead of recycling past energy. This is why people live this way, seem unstoppable. This is why Alex Hormozi seems unstoppable right now. They're never in their own way long enough to stall. He's not overthinking it. He's not overanalyzing it. He's just taking action. That's it. It's that simple. Number 6 is the identity shift. You see, over time, you stop identifying as someone who overthinks, overanalyzes. Your brain rewires the meaning of impulse. Listen to this very, very closely. You see that your old code equals impulse, equals danger, punishment, and regret. What do I mean by impulse? Impulse is just you following your intuition. Maybe you grew up similar to me, where decision-making skills wasn't really taught in your household. You just basically did what your parents wanted you to do. Maybe you had a very, very overbearing parent. Maybe it was your dad or father, where you did what he wanted you to do. As long as you lived at home in their household, they planned everything for you. So basically what's happened, you've learned to bury those feelings. You don't trust yourself. You don't trust your impulses. You don't trust your intuition, your gut feelings, or that small little voice that tells you to do something. You don't trust it because your whole life, up until you're 20 years old, you always did what other people wanted you to do. So you weren't taught to listen to it, and you weren't taught to take action on your own intuitive intuition. Now, this is what I mean by old code. Old code equals your impulses, which is your intuition, which equals danger, punishment, or regret to you. Now, your new code, the Hormozi effect, when you have impulses to do something, when you have an intuition to do something, when you have a gut feeling to do something, that equals progress, growth, and opportunity. That's how you rewire your subconscious mind. Bottom line, this is how the Hormozi effect becomes not just an action pattern, but an identity upgrade. You see, this is what I try to tell you in the beginning of the video. You're paying attention to the wrong traits of Alex Hormozi. If you want great success, wealth, and manifesting powers, it's the Hormozi effect. It's taking action. It's taking immediate action. This is the trait that Alex is doing. No matter why he's doing it, no matter how he learned it, okay, he's following his intuition. Once he has an intuitive nudge to do something, he does it. He doesn't think about it. He does it. He takes action on it immediately. And once he takes action, that's when he figures out everything. But what's happening right now, like I said in the beginning of the video, all these gurus have you focused on the wrong traits. All these gurus have you focused on, let's break down Alex Hormozi's pitch. Let's break down his offer. Let's funnel hack Alex Hormozi. But that stuff isn't going to make you wealthy. That stuff is not sustainable. Listen very closely. The Hormozi effect is choosing action before hesitation can hijack you. It transforms impulses from distractions into your destiny. Hey tribe, thanks for hanging in. Thanks for listening. Now remember, we have part 2 and part 3. So part 2 is going to be released 1 week from this video. So remember, I love you guys and I'll see you in part 2.